The one and only UFC superstar, Jim Miller, joining Ike Live tonight. Jim!
Thanks for having me.
What's up, man?
Oh, not much.
Have you officially rigged your bass cat that you won at the Ike Foundation tournament?
No.
Yeah! No! So are you saying it's a flower pot on the side of your house?
I am a hillbilly.
Yes!
So-
Our very own Brian the Carpenter had one sitting on the side of his house for about 30 years. So yeah, you did. Come on, man.
The good thing is we have the sales guy here, so maybe he could help you with some fishing sponsorships,
All right.
you know, and get you set up so we can get you out on the water.
That's
There
right.
we go. There we
Well,
go.
maybe we could blame the Ike Foundation. Does this year's boat have a motor on it?
I think it's going to.
You think it's
Yeah.
I
going
cannot confirm that, but I
to?
It's a
Okay.
good
Hey,
possibility.
Joe Sancho just ripped his giant goatee off.
Yeah, you.
That man's got broad shoulders. He carried Dan and I through that entire tournament.
Now you are, Jim. You're fishing this year again with us. We're very excited to have you back, and
I'm
you're
excited to be back.
yes, you're coming in as a returning champion. You fished one event,
right.
you won. This is your second one. Give me some expectations for this year. Are you?
Oh,
look at that!
Right there.
Look at that! There it goes. I see it.
Trophy.
I'm coming down to catch some fish on the Delaware this time.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just a great event, and I'm excited to come down and be a part of it, and try to give back and get some kids fishing, man.
There are two other UFC fighters fishing.
no, there's three.
Three? Is there three?
Yeah.
Three other UFC
I've heard
fighters
some rumors.
fishing this year. There's some smack talk going around already. Do you want to weigh in on any of this, Dave? Do you want to comment, Brodzik? Do you want to comment on some of the smack talk?
Yeah.
That's-
Hey, Jim, it's Dave, man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
How you doing?
All right, buddy.
This I don't need to talk.
Got the trophy. Got the trophy.
I'm
Hold that up
undefeated.
one more time, Jim. Hold it up.
Hold it up. Hold it up. We got full screen now. Hold that thing up. There you
There you
go. That's
There
more
you
than
go.
talk
Nice.
right there.
Clay
I'm
Guida
undefeated.
says. Clay Guida
That's
says
all we
you
got to
better
talk
bring.
about. There's
Clay-
no talking.
Wait. Dave,
I do my talking on the water.
what do we got, Dave?
So Clay says you better bring that and clean that glass for him because he's taking that home with
Clay.
him. Mr. Clay Guida. Can you take Clay out one-on-one? Yeah, in fishing I'm talking about.
Let's give it a shot.
I want to talk a little bit about Lyme's disease, and it's we talked about it before you came on. I think every one of us in this room either knows someone that deals with it, knows someone that had it, knows someone, it's somehow connected to it.
Or someone that still may have it,
Right, right.
Yeah.
like over on this side of the room.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about give us your background with Lyme's, and I know you're a champion of bringing awareness to it. Give us a little background on what Lyme's means to you.
Well, I am I'm dealing with chronic Lyme right now. So I don't know exactly when I was bitten by a tick. I always thought that the tick had to be on you for a certain amount of time, and since being diagnosed with it, I've learned a lot about it. I was always around ticks. I've found plenty crawling on me. I think in my life I've only found one that was actually bitten on there. But
They're hard to decipher between freckles, right, Jim?
they can be. I mean, the
Irish
deer
guys.
tick is really small, and the nymph stage, the young deer ticks. I mean, they're like a grain of sand practically. I mean, they're
Right.
tiny, and if they have the bacteria and they bite you, they could potentially give it to you. So you don't know. I mean, I've seen pictures of little kids with a deer tick on their gums or like under their eyelid. They're so small that they get into places where you think you'd feel them.
Yeah.
and they don't have to be engorged. They don't have to stay on there for a few days. I remember as a kid, it was like, oh, the tick has to be on you for 3 days for you to get Lyme disease. That's not true. If they regurgitate into you, they can give it to you. And that can be as short as a couple minutes. If they bite you and they don't like something, whether it's your sunscreen or, something you've got on you, and they, spit in you, puke into you, and jump off of you, you never know what happened. And you could very well be infected. I was diagnosed, it was like 2 or 3 days before I fought Diego Sanchez. So that was 2016, March 2016. I had like the worst camp of my life. I could barely train. I could barely get out of bed some days. I pretty much didn't train for that fight. I probably would get in like, maybe 5 or 6 workouts a week. Yeah. It was not what a training camp for a professional fight should be. So I thought, and that's one of the tough things too, is that Lyme is they call it the great imitator. The symptoms can disguise themselves, and it can look like a lot of different diseases. I personally thought that I had rheumatoid arthritis. I had a lot of the symptoms. I had really severe joint pain to the point where I could be warmed up and going, in a practice, and I'd go to stand up and I'd have to put my hands on my knees and I'd grunt and groan standing up. When you're all warmed up and you should be moving and everything should be, greased up and you're going. I was going up and down stairs sideways because it was easier on my knees, grabbing the railing. And I thought that was because, I've been a fighter for, at that point, 10 years. That's what I thought it was.
I went through this in 2004 and 2005. A lot of the same stuff that you're talking about, Jim. I had a lot of the same symptoms that you talked about. I was having episodes after I'd work out at the gym, and I couldn't figure out. Literally one time I'd passed out. Somebody picked me up off the ground. They couldn't figure it out, and it finally took me finding a doctor that was, like you said, I guess Lyme literate at the time.
Yep.
And this is going back a long time. That put me on a big cycle of what you're talking about, and I did it for months. Pete, how many? Yeah. I can't remember. It was probably maybe a year, 6 or 8 months or a year, and my symptoms really vanished really quickly. The interesting thing, and as you're talking, I'm looking at Becky, because now, and again, what you said is true. I'm older. I've been through a lot of shit in fishing, just like you have. Not as bad, You're getting more beat up than I am, but literally. Yeah, literally. But I've been through a lot of stuff, and I've got symptoms again, and I'm wondering, has it the pounding of the boat for the last 20 years? Is it, I have a little nausea in the morning, So, maybe it's time for me to go back and get it reinvestigated. But, this is all great information.
My goodness. It's amazing to me because I'm suffering with something, and I'm undiagnosed, and the symptoms that you're talking about, going up the stairs sideways. I'm just like out of the blue. I got to go up the stairs sideways in the morning for fear that my joints are going to collapse.
Yeah.
And you're like, you go down to pick up a pair of pliers on the deck of your boat, and you got to lean on stuff to stand up again, and it's just out of the blue. So I feel that I'm worried. I think Lyme disease might be my concern. I've not found a doctor that's literate in it. I tested negative for it. Yeah. And I'm kind of stuck undiagnosed right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what's cool. That's what's crazy about Lyme disease is you can test for it and test for it and test for it.
Yeah.
And it comes back as a false negative, they call it, right? So you could essentially test for it 5 or 6 times until finally you have it.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy. Jim, first of all, thank you for coming on again. Very, very insightful stuff on Lymes. I know a lot of our listeners are going to love that stuff.
Yeah.
And, dude, I can't wait to see you in a month or so at re-winning the title again against all these other people that are talking smack. There it goes
There it
again. Look
is.
at it creep in.
Where you at, Gregor Gillespie?
That's right.
Where
I
you
just
at?
was thinking of the belt buckle. I don't know where-
Beck,
That'd be
that's not a
legit.
bad idea, Beck. Let's
I'll
think
work
about
on
a belt buckle next
Very
time.
cool.
Definitely look forward to seeing you, and can't wait till you come out. And thank you again for fishing the event. It's going to be a great time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
You're the
Jim
man,
Miller,
Jim.
everybody.
Thanks, Jim.
Woo!